Hi, this is michellesam from Sammy Wong's Kitchen. I just recently came back from a few weeks in New York City where I was working in the kitchens of some fabulous restaurants. And now that I'm back, I decided to do a series on Chinese cooking where I will address some of the requests that have been made over the past few months. And that is to provide you with easy, quick, and healthy Chinese dishes. So what I'm going to do, just to give you an intro, is that I'm going to first start off with providing the Chinese cooking essential ingredients, and then from there we're going to work on a universal meat marinade, a universal sauce that forms the base of 95% of the stir fries, and then provide you with some dishes. So hopefully, as you follow me through this Chinese cooking series, not only will you have a better understanding of Chinese cooking, but you could probably whip up any kind of Chinese dish you want, and it will taste not only fabulous, but also healthy. So let's get started. So I was asked, what are the basic ingredients to purchase for Chinese cooking? And as I thought about that, besides the salt, pepper, and sugar that everybody should have in their house, there are some aromatics and 8 essential ingredients that gives you a good basis for not only marinating all your meats, but also to provide 95% of your sauces for Chinese cooking. So this looks definitely more than 8, but what I did want to provide is some different options so that when you do go to the grocery store, you know what to look for. In almost all Chinese cooking, we do have salt, pepper, and sugar. Now, the combination of salt and sugar provides that umami flavor, which is almost like a flavor enhancer. That's why there's always a salt and sugar combination. So in addition to that, I like adding chicken bouillon. So you can get the chicken bouillon without MSG or the chicken bouillon with MSG. For some reason, the red always connotes with MSG. I don't know why. But I just think that this provides a more complex taste to the dish. And that can be substituted for the salt. Cornstarch. Now, cornstarch is used not only as a thickener, but it's also used to allow the sauce or the marinade to adhere to the meat. So most marinades and sauces have cornstarch in it. Now, the cornstarch is different from cornmeal. Cornmeal being very granular, but if you can see, the cornstarch is a fine white powder. Now for soy sauce. Here I have 3 kinds of soy sauces. There are light soy sauces and there are dark soy sauces. The light soy sauces, they range in price as well as quality, and they can be very expensive, and those particular soy sauces really taste very light but very flavorful. And then there are other soy sauce that just are really flat and salty. So it depends on your personal preference. I like using the Pearl River light soy sauce, the superior grade, and this I use for cooking. But then there's also a much finer and tastier one that we use as a condiment. So we use this one for a condiment. and then this one for cooking. The dark soy sauce really is to make your brown sauce darker. And it is a little thicker too. So this is not, the dark soy sauce is really not used much for flavor, although it does have a bit of a soy sauce flavor. I tend to use the light soy sauce plus the dark soy sauce if I want a darker sauce. So that is for the soy sauce. Now for the acid. So in every cuisine, there is an acid that is added to the meat. And the reason for the acid is to make it tender. There's some cuisines that use yogurt, some cuisines that use lemon juice, others use wine. And in Chinese cooking, there is either a rice wine, and this one is the Shaoxing cooking wine, or I do also use whiskey. And this is both for the marinade as well as for the sauce. And now for some other sauces that we might use in our marinades or sauce. Oyster sauce. So oyster sauce, like soy sauce, ranges in grade and taste. So I use this brand. There are also other brands. This Kikkoman oyster flavored sauce. The red one has MSG. The green one does not have MSG. I believe this one has MSG. So if you are allergic to MSG, you might want to look for the green bottle. Quite frankly, I don't think that the Kikkoman's taste is as good as this one, but you know, it might be personal preference. A lot of Chinese dishes also have bean sauce. So I have this bean sauce, which is the black bean sauce with garlic. The black beans, if you want to do your own black bean sauce, looks like this. It's desiccated and very salty, and all you need to do is combine that with some oil and garlic in a pestle and mortar, and then you have your black bean garlic sauce. I have made my own black bean with chili sauce, and that is essentially what I use if I want to spice up my dishes. Speaking of spicy, there is the now famous Lao Gan Ma, which is the spicy chili crisp. This can be used as both a condiment as well as an ingredient in your stir fry or sriracha. Sesame oil provides fragrance, and I like this particular brand, but it's also personal preference and also availability. And lastly, the Hoisin sauce. This is like a plum sauce. It is sweet, and if you need to just have a thick, sweet paste, this is a great one to have. And it's also wonderful to use as an accompaniment for dumplings. In addition to the 8 main ingredients for both the marinade and the sauce, there is something called aromatics. Now, the French have their mirepoix, which is the basis on which they fry everything. So the Chinese also have equivalent of the mirepoix, but our aromatics is a mixture of garlic, ginger, and scallions. And these scallions are thin because they're from my garden, but those are the aromatics. So 9 essential ingredients to get you started on great stir frying. So the next thing we're going to learn is how to make the basic meat marinade, and this will form the basis of all your meat marinades. We'll then also learn the sauce that is actually the base of all your sauces that will be for your stir fries. So hopefully with the marinade and the sauce under your belt, and with some techniques I learned from the restaurants, you'll be able to cook most dishes under 15 minutes, except for the time it takes to marinate. I hope you learned something. If you did, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. See you in part 2, and happy cooking.